Just want to provide a quick clarification of something I mentioned in the first video, the introduction. I said the police had become involved in this issue, and just to avoid confusion to anybody, just wanted to explain what I meant by that. Now, I said I'm not a lawyer or a legal trained person, and but with that said, I do understand the fact that there's a difference between criminal law and civil law, and the police don't get involved in what's essentially a civil dispute, a contract dispute, which is what appears to be taking place now between my family and, you know, the LCC and these other organisations. So it wasn't that we were expecting the police to become involved in settling the dispute. It was as a result of some of the things that have happened, some of the behaviour that's happened by those other parties in terms of how they're dealing with that. Now, although it's a civil dispute that's been disputed or trying to get resolved here, it's still, as far as I understand it, it's still necessary for everybody to act in a lawful way and be respectful of the law, no matter what they say their procedures are or whatever authorisation they feel they may have to do what they are doing. They still need to act in a lawful way. So just because the fact that they claim that they're owed some money, rightly or wrongly, it doesn't give them free rein or carte blanche to behave however they want in order to try and recover that, or to contest that, whichever way we want to put it. So that's the reason for it. I didn't want any confusion, anyone to think that, you know, that the police would try to involve the police in what's a civil issue. It's for some other reasons. Now, with that being said as well, I do know from my own experience, unfortunately, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I was a victim of an assault myself earlier in the year. I thought it was quite a serious issue, particularly with some of the aggravating factors. It was reported to the police. The evidence was there for all to see. There was witnesses, there was people who had filmed it, there was municipal CCTV. As I say, there was quite serious aggravating factors with it as well. But when it went to the police, one of the things that came out of it, long story short, was that they felt as though they weren't able to prosecute, or I don't think it's a police that can prosecute, it's a CPS that prosecute, but the police felt as though they weren't able to confidently get a charge from the CPS because of the severity of the incident. So I'm fully aware that you know, some things that might be considered minor incidents, that the police, for no fault of their own, I understand they're under pressure from the CPS, they might not feel it's worth trying to get a charge for these things from their own experience, just to get turned down by, you know, the CPS. So as I say, I don't know the outcome of this, as well as all the other matters at this point. We're just sort of in these starting blocks, so we'll see how that goes and I'll report back on that. But aside from the CPS issue, there's something else that I just wanted to raise, which is, you know, the second point in terms of the police involvement. Even notwithstanding whether or not they can get a result or get the CPS to take on board the allegations or the charge. As I say, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know the proper language for this, but whether that is or not the case, there are some aspects of law that the police can act on without necessarily involving the CPS or other parties. In particular, in the research that I've done in relation to this incident, I've been looking at something called the Protection from Harassment Act 1997. I can't quote the full thing fully. I'll put a link down to it because it may be useful. But under that legislation, one of the things that the police are able to do, if there is, you know, evidence or they have the necessary suspicion of harassment taking place, is issue a warning to the offender or to the person harassing to obviously cease that behaviour and stop doing it. As I understand it, this is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, the police are able to do that without needing to get sort of outside authority or anything from the CPS or other parties like that. So that's another avenue that we're looking at as well. So Again, I don't know what the outcome of that's going to be, but as far as I understand it, technically, that is an action that the police could take upon themselves to try and prevent this harassment of my father from happening. So, as I said, we'll have to see whether or not they, decide to take that route or not. It's something that I've mentioned to them, that I've made them aware that I'm aware of the possibility of this. As far as I understand it, once a warning has been issued, then it's the responsibility of the offending party to stop the offensive behaviour, and if that doesn't happen, then that can escalate to a higher level, and things can be taken from there. So, as with everything else, we'll have to see how all these issues go. I'll keep you updated and posted. Also, I didn't mention in the last video, I was just trying to get the points across. If this is interesting to you, or you find it might be useful to you, subscribe and then obviously like the videos. And if you want to see the future content as it comes out, obviously hit for the notifications, because then you'll get notified when I post the updates of that. I'm going to try and link into some other channels that are doing similar type of work and do the same things for them. Hopefully, if we can work together, we can stop this type of behaviour and make it better for all of us. Thanks.